They don't understand if you face the bad news and deal with it, then you can have a good place to live in and have more liberty. But when you just deny and want to live in denial and want to lie to yourself, you have a horrible world. And it's true. A lot of people, they want to be lied to. They want to be conned. They think it's cute and funny, and I don't understand it.
Well, I mean, and a country that is staggering in their economic woes and economic disabilities in this country. People are crawling on their knees, sleeping in their cars, and yet the alcohol industry, smoking industry, television, entertainment, movies are making a bumper crop. They're making billions. Why? Because the people have lost their souls. They have nothing to live for.
And that was designed. That was a seduction, because it's almost like a joke now. I talk to people on the street, and it's like they're getting more retarded by the week.
Without a doubt. Absolutely.
What is going on? It's like a mass mutation is taking place before my eyes.
Absolutely. I'm telling you, and it's frightening, because I know what the future is going to be. I already know what's coming. There's going to be a time very soon when Americans, generally speaking, and the worst part about it is that the masses will never wake up. They will just become acclimated to the system.
Well, I've read government documents. I mean, the new thing said you'll be arrested if you're seen hugging your child or kissing them. I mean, so, and the government says we'll be in gray uniforms with shaved heads, basically lobotomized, and that's who's even allowed to live. And I see them phasing that in rather quickly, the way it's going.
That's exactly what I'm saying. And so I'm frightened because I know what is coming on the earth. I know the kind of world which is coming, and the people have no idea. Generally speaking, the public doesn't know. They don't care because they've been acclimated to it. They have already learned how to crawl on their knees when they see some holy man with a robe. If it's a black robe, they shake in fear. If it's a black robe for the priest, they shake in fear. So they've been acclimated and taught to be impressed with movie stars and wealthy people with big money. But
it seems that the elite themselves have gotten more reckless and wild.
Oh, of course. And the reason why is because they realize the entire human race is worthless. That the entire human race is going to buy anything you put out there. And now it's like the criminal element doesn't even know what to do with itself anymore. It's so easy. It's so easy to just fool the people because they love it.
Well, that's, I mean, exactly. That's like the White House publicly says they're running Al-Qaeda and has them attacking Iran, and the media says Iran is Al-Qaeda when they're Shiites, the opposite group. And then it's just all over the news. Republicans saying we love terror attacks. They sure help us. And I mean, how much more obvious? And then Gary Hart writes a letter, has it published in the newspaper, saying our government stages attacks. Iran better do what they're told. I mean, they're basically, they may come out and say they did it soon.
Well, I know. But you know what? Nobody's going to care. Couldn't care less, because it doesn't mean much to anybody anyway. So it's just, and even on the Tonight Show with Jay Leno, when he does the jaywalks, when he walks out in the street and talks to people and asks the average American, who won the Second World War? They don't even know what you're talking about. They didn't know there was a Second World War. And, and of course that thing we talked about before about that young lady, Miss Teen America, that was so appalling to me. I still wake up in a sweaty.
But that's how, listen, that's how people are. If you know any history, they look at you like you're weird, and people kind of sit back in their chairs and act scared.
I had friends, my personal friends, many years ago. That's what they used to say about me, that you're weird. You study. And one guy told me, he said, you're the only person I know in our circle of friends that you don't fit. I mean, there's something about you that's just not right. And I said, in what way? Well, I mean, you read all that crazy stuff. And I said, like what? Well, for instance, all those law books and all that stuff about religion and all of that. And, the bottom line is that he is so far removed from reality that anybody has a half a brain looks like a freak to him. So I know what it is. If you are smart, intelligent, and inquisitive, You're not going to fit in this world of the new order.
Stay there, Jordan Maxwell. We're going to keep talking.
When I learned
Jordan, we're gonna skip this break, and then we're going to take the next one if you need a break.
Yep.
Jordan, continuing along those lines, timeline-wise, when do you think they're going to try to start their mass culling? I mean, we know cancer's way up. We know they're injecting us. It's in the food. We know that, I mean, literally, I know a ton of people who are 25, 30 years old, got cancer, people dying, little kids everywhere dying from it. You know, the brain damaging everywhere. I mean, we know they're carrying it out.
Yeah.
But, I mean, when is it really going to, I mean, how do you see things unfolding?
Well, I think that it's like a train going downhill with the brakes off. They're scurrying to do anything and everything they can now because it's like nothing succeeds like success, and so the more successful they become, the more arrogant and out of control they are. Until now, it's a feeding frenzy.
Exactly, a mass looting, a sacking of humanity.
Exactly. It's out of control.
They've tried to bring in pure evil, and now it's just a bloody orgy.
That's exactly right. That's what I see.
And nothing succeeds like success. You see the same thing I see, is that exactly, they're just frothing, destroying minds, poisoning everybody, poisoning themselves. That's the thing I notice. Even their high-level minions like Bill Clinton and stuff, they all don't care what happens. It's like O'Brien says to Winston in 1984, look, I'm falling apart. Don't laugh at me. You know, the fact that I'm falling apart to carry out this evil shows the vigor of the larger creature.
Yeah, of course. And I see it and it frightens me because I see the children on the streets, little ones in schools, thinking, my God, what kind of a world are we leaving our children? You know, and people say, well, I see a light at the end of the tunnel, and people are waking up, and I said, look, the only light at the end of the tunnel is a train coming, because eventually you're going to wake up and find out that the situation was far more serious than you even suspected.
Well, that's the thing, is that people think I, fearmonger, exaggerate, and literally 99 times out of 100, it's many times worse than what I even thought.
Absolutely. No doubts about it. No doubt about it. And that's what scares me, is that it's so much worse than what you're saying. And now the mentality frightens me. Yesterday I went to Disney Studios, for example, to deliver a letter. I got a letter from Disney for some piece of business, and they said, please get this in the mail immediately or bring it over to us because we need this paperwork immediately. So I put it in an envelope and drove over to Disney and drove up to the security gate and said, would you please drop this in the mail for a certain party? And they said, oh, no, we have to open it up and read it. We have to sit down. And so the security guy has to open the letter and sit down and read my personal letter and read what's in it first before he can decide if he will let that piece of mail go through. Because he doesn't know, because he's got a badge and he's in charge.
Yeah, I mean, they're just habitualizing total tyranny.
Everything, purely. And I said, why do you have to read my personal mail and a personal contract that has nothing to do with you? It's addressed to Disney company, it's addressed to a particular person.
Well, I've noticed,
I have to open it and read it.
I've noticed that's what happens in Nazi tyrannies and others, is finally even their own minions just are frothing themselves. I bet that isn't even a policy.
No, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. He has a badge, and therefore he is in charge. Same thing at the airports. People at the airports and airport security have never had a job.
I'll tell you what, let's talk about that. Here we go.
Revolution.
Yeah, they're going to put in every major U.S. airport a system where you're totally naked, scans an image and saves it of your naked body. I told you that 6 years ago. Now it's mainstream news, and they tell you. Now they take blood without warrants at checkpoints. And Jordan was, during the behind-the-scenes PrisonPlanet.tv discussion, he was bringing up the airports. This is our slave training, isn't it, Jordan?
No doubt about it. I mean, anybody that's got more than 500 brain cells going all in the same direction knows it. It's just it's outrageous. But I was just saying that I went to Disney Studios yesterday, and because I got a letter from Disney saying that there was a piece of work that I'm doing with Disney, and they needed a contract signed, and so they said, get this back to us immediately because you only have a couple of days to get